wash our hands often to our elbows. These are the things we know. We know. If people want to wear a mask, that is okay. These are the things we know. That prevents you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.
And welcome to Free Cheese!
Free cheese! This is
I'm
false
Nathan
start
Lee.
number. I'm Andrew Patterson, and this is false start number 3. This might be the one that makes the actual take.
This actually might make the cut.
We should have recorded the 10 minutes of me carrying this phone around trying to find my keys in the backyard.
Yeah.
That would have been gripping video.
Yes, Andrew's been booted out of his home.
I have decided in an effort to record not at a whisper or constantly hiding from my daughter, to do this from the front porch on my phone. We'll see what level of success. We've already had multiple false starts, a few technical glitches. Also, it was been impossible to see me. Which doesn't really matter if you're listening, but for those watching the thrilling YouTube feed, you certainly want to see my creepy face shadowed in the dark here.
Yeah. I was saying you do look like you're in a Halloween movie, or you're.
I assume we're talking about Ernest Scared Stupid is the Halloween movie, the ultimate Halloween movie of all Halloween movies. That one, and then whatever Olsen Twins movie was a Halloween movie, and
When did
those
Jim Varney died? Right? When was that? A
long
time ago.
A while ago, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so Jim Varney is no longer with us. Vern is riding solo now.
Yeah.
but it took you about 30 seconds in to bring the whole mood down.
Bring the whole thing down. Well,
hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Free Cheese. Hey, that guy, that guy Vern,
that guy
Ernest, he died, right? Yes, we're never gonna get Beverly Hillbillies the movie 2, sadly.
No.
So unfortunately, Cloris Leachman still alive, Diedrich Bader still alive, whoever played Ellie Mae still alive. I think Jessica Simpson. It may have been Jessica Simpson in one of her few exciting film roles. I think was Ellie Mae Clampett.
Yes.
And so, but Jim Varney, good and dead.
That was I think it was Erika Eleniak, wasn't it, from Baywatch?
Oh, now we're gonna have to look this up.
No, you're thinking Daisy Duke.
Oh, you're right. My apologies. You're right. She was Daisy Duke. Erika Eleniak, with perhaps the greatest topless scene in film history.
Yes, Under Siege.
From what movie? Oh, you betcha. Under Siege. Exactly 23 minutes in. 23 minutes and 12 seconds.
You remember from fast forwarding the VHS tape, do you?
That's right. I remember looking at the little timer on the VHS player, going in my bootleg copy from City TV with the commercial edits out and going, the boobies come out at exactly 23:15 when she pops
City
out of that cake.
I forgot. City used to be like that edgy TV station where you could get the softcore kind of nudity.
They left the boobies and the swears in. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Wow.
And do you remember in that scene
where leaves the boobies and swears in, so you don't even notice.
When she pops out of that cake, it takes a full 45 seconds for her to realize the room is empty, minus Steven Seagal standing there with a machine gun. Yeah. They go through a great deal of effort to make sure she doesn't look up, so that we can see those movies as long as possible. I think they play Cherry Pie at 11. She pops out with her head down and then swinging it sideways. Oh, it's fantastic. I could probably do the whole scene choreographed from memory here. Because it is
yet another point of pride.
That's right. And a great action movie that builds to the thrilling climax of a muscular, Aikido skilled Steven Seagal in his prime fighting Tommy Lee Jones, a 65-year-old man in a knife fight. It's the stupidest. They give him 10,000 bad guys to like murder his way through, so
Yeah.
that this final climax feels like something. But all he does is sort of dance around, sticks a knife directly through his head, sticks his head through like a radar display, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well,
It's
these
so good.
movies were not known for their cinematic. Uh,
Hey, Under Siege was a great movie. It was well regarded, highly, very well reviewed.
yeah.
Look it up
Well,
on
I don't
Rotten
know.
Tomatoes, baby. I guarantee you at least an 85%.
Really? All right, I'll
You
double
betcha.
check.
Yeah, well, I'm challenging you right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
94.
I'm
You're
using,
serious? 94.
sorry, I said
You're-
85, but I will push it as far as even to the 90s. It was a big hit and a critical darling of that year. People calling it the next successor to Die Hard.
Well,
Steven Seagal's best work.
you're
Go
not
ahead. Tell me.
you're not far off, but
What is it?
it's 79.
Well, then that means there are 21% of the critics at that time were fucking morons because it is a fantastic
Well,
movie.
yes
Now,
and
now,
no.
now,
Yeah,
my
they are
question
because
is,
with all the old movies, and they don't go back and review them. They've got their hands full reviewing all the new movies coming out. So that's out of 28 reviews, or
right?
31 reviews. Sorry. So that means that there was like 5 of them that didn't like it. The rest did. So
Yeah. Well, you go back
small
now.
sample
Let
size.
now let me check. I'm going to try another prediction here. Under Siege 2: Dark Territory. I predict the ratings being much lower. I'm going to go with a 55% on Under Siege 2: Dark Territory. Tell me how
25,
close I get.
25,
22. No, 52%.
52. No,
52.
35.
Oh Lord. Um, Under Siege 2: Dark Territory, on a train. Terrorists
Yeah.
hijack a train, a thing that can only go one direction on one set of tracks.
But
And in an effort to come up with a wimpier bad guy than 65-year-old Tommy Lee Jones, they pick noted playwright and star of Oliver Stone's talk radio, Eric Bogosian,
yeah.
the bad And all I remember from his death was I believe the film ends with him hanging from the side of a helicopter. And then Steven Seagal slams the door shut, chopping off his fingers and having a fingerless Eric Bogosian fall into an exploding train, if I'm remembering this correctly. In
Oh
which
man.
case, Under Siege 2: Dark Territory, another great film of the 90s.
Now,
Oh,
interestingly, that also had Katherine Hagel in it.
the great Katherine Heigl. Oh yeah, she's
Heigl,
like a
Hagel.
kid. She's a kid in that movie. That's
Yeah,
right.
because I'm
Oh
like,
man.
wow, I thought she got her start much later with Knocked Up or whatever, but I guess she's
No,
been
no,
around
yeah.
longer than that.
No, yeah. She's the kid in Under Siege 2: Dark Territory. Oh man,
Yeah,
we should watch Under
it's
Siege. We
like
should
when you
we should.
just it's like when you discover who's the oh, what's her name? The
We'll
redheaded
take longer on this.
Spider-Man, the redhead in the first Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I want to see if you get there. Keep going,
Uh,
because this is already super boring, so we might as
I
well
know, I
really
know.
stretch it out.
But anyway, she was like the kid vampire in Interview with a Vampire.
You're trying to think of the name Kirsten Dunst, by the way, but
Kirsten
that was
Dunst.
wonderful. It was wonderful to watch you continuously flail.
Yeah, I was flailing. I just moved
I
on.
Do you think
But
maybe we should rebrand this whole thing Free Cheese Dark Territory and just make every
yeah,
episode
maybe. Can I push you
discussing an
from a
element?
train?
No, well, that would be the climax of the final episode. But I mean, like, we're doing a really deep dive on Under Siege 2: Dark Territory. So, like,
Yeah.
next week we spend just an hour on like the making of, and then an hour on like the opening sequence, and then like a whole hour on Maurice Chestnut, who plays the porter. Like that. Maybe we could stretch Under Siege 2: Dark Territory into 15 episodes.
Yeah.
you,
Dark
you don't seem
Territory,
convinced.
the mini series.
Well, we'll try. We'll see how far we can take Robin Hood today, and if
Yeah.
we can go in deep,
I
in
was
as
wondering
deep
when
a
you're going to
dive.
segue into Robin Hood. So last
See,
week,
see, see how smoothly I segued.
yes,
I was like a fucking,
I was
distillery
waiting for
district
it.
Segway tour kind of segue, just like zoo right in there before
I
you
was
knew it.
waiting for it. So
Well,
last week we
ta-da!
gave each other the homework of watching Russell Crowe in Ridley Scott's Robin Hood from
Dude,
2011.
yeah, it was a movie that I don't think exists anymore, that just
Yeah,
vanished
except on
out of
Netflix.
yes, but I mean out of everyone's collective hearts and minds. It's not a film that anyone ever thinks of.
Well,
Whether
I
you say
finished it
Russell Crowe,
today. And I have a
Russell
feeling I'll
Crowe.
forget about it tomorrow.
Yeah. Russell Crowe, Ridley Scott, nobody involved in that movie remembers it. The only person I swear who remembers it is the guy from Great Big Sea who is in it
Yes.
bizarrely. He'll because I believe it's the only thing he did since Great Big Sea. But man, yeah, I finished it much earlier today, not you who just finished it literally
Yeah.
seconds ago.
You know what? Actually, it's funny because a couple days ago we played poker and Andrew mentioned it. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you forgot
So-
about it. You didn't say it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm getting to it, which
Yeah,
is a
getting
total
to it.
lie. It is a complete lie. If I hadn't said anything then, would you have seen it up till now, or would I be sitting
Probably
here
not.
talking
No,
about
I would
the
have
Russell
likely
Crowe Robin
forgotten.
Hood on my own?
I would
But
have
did you
likely
watch?
forgotten.
Did you
But
watch the whole thing?
I'm a much better person for having watched it. Now, my
What
question is,
in a better way that Catholics are better when they torture themselves, or what?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What is your
Well,
question
my
on the
question
2000?
is,
Oh, by the
was
way,
it?
before we get
Yeah,
into this,
yes,
if you are now listening to Free Cheese or watching Free Cheese and you have not seen it, please pause this, take 2 hours and 20 minutes out of your life
yes,
to watch this thing, and then
as
come
we
back.
did.
We'll wait. Okay, hold on. And you're back. All right. I hope you
Okay.
enjoyed Robin Hood. Now, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, it came out almost 10 years ago. So if you haven't seen it yet, well, too bad.
Mm.
So anyway, Robin Hood turns out that it's a prequel to all the fun shenanigans that took place in Sherwood Forest with his merry men.
Yeah, basically, I believe
It's an
the notion
origin
of this Robin
story,
Hood is like,
basically.
yes, it's basically, hey, you know Robin Hood, that lighthearted fun adventure we all love? Well, imagine that before that happened was Braveheart. Imagine Braveheart and then Robin Hood, because this movie is fucking
Yeah, no,
Braveheart
that's exactly what I was thinking. It's Braveheart,
to
like
the
the
point
whole
where
thing.
3/4 of the way in, at about the same point in Braveheart, Robin Hood, aka William Wallace, gives a speech about freedom
Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
the cries of a dirty group of peasants wielding axes.
Yeah.
Uh, it's insane how Braveheart this is, except for the last 15 minutes, in which case it becomes. Come on, what movie is it in the last 15 minutes?
Well, I was
Fucking
reminded of
Saving Private
Saving Private
Ryan in the
Ryan.
last 15 minutes.
That's exactly what I thought of.
Yes, I know, because the end of them coming off the boats and then getting whooped, belted
Yeah,
by arrows.
and it
It's
was
it's
totally ripped off.
it's fucking ridiculous. It's great. And here's another one. Hey, you know Robin's band of merry men? What if they were all completely interchangeable? What if Little John
Yeah,
was about half a foot taller?
yeah, yeah,
Um, and the only mention of Little John is a dick joke about an hour in,
yeah,
where Friar Tuck turns to him and goes, "So why do they call you Little John?" And Little John says, "What are you implying?" In that way that nobody said that back then.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then he's like, "I'm proportionate," which again, they probably didn't say things like that back then.
Yeah, it's fucking
Oh,
nonsense. This
I
movie.
think my
Uh,
favorite I think my favorite line though was Russell Crowe when he sees the French invasion force and says, "Wow, that's a lot of French." That's his line.
no, no, I believe my favorite line comes not long after that, where, and we're jumping to the end here, but who gives a shit? Maid Marian,
Yes,
paid by Kate Blanchett.
yes.
It's a long story, but
In a
ultimately,
very bland performance.
her father is killed about 4/5 the way through this thing.
Yeah.
She suits up in a suit of armor near the end of this film. Robin Hood sees her in armor and goes, "I guess you're in on the fight, eh?" And then she goes to fight like no one would have at that time.
Yes.
Uh, and,
Well,
and then
this is 2011.
she sees across the beach the man who killed her father, and in the middle of a loud battle full of screaming and confusion, she takes the time to look at him, tilt her head up, and goes, "This is for you, father," before
Yes.
she runs through the mud and gets kicked into the sand. It is it is awesome, because I wasn't, as an audience member, entirely sure why she was angry at the guy who murdered her father 10 minutes ago. Thank you for spelling it out for me, Kate
Yeah.
Blanchett. I picked up on the fact that you were mad at him when he killed your dad. It was unbearable. Yeah, dirty movie. And hey, you love how Robin Hood shoots arrows. You want to see a movie where he shoots one arrow
Yeah.
right at the end?
No, he shoots a couple during the ambush?
No, he does not. He does not let one arrow loose during the ambush. He holds his arrow aloft. The other guys do the arrow work.
Oh, really?
He
Yeah.
don't do shit,
Yeah, it
including,
was.
by the way, Little John holding an arrow in a crossbow in each hand, John Woo style.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was almost hoping he would have to leap sideways and shoot both crossbows.
Yeah.
It's some
Although your
fucking nonsense
description
move.
makes it sound way more entertaining than it actually is,
Yeah,
because
it is
it was
not.
just like I remember you saying, "Wow, I'm 45 minutes in. It feels like I've still got an hour and a half to go." Like, God.
Yeah, well, every time I clicked on it, I'd watch a couple scenes like, well, that was a long bunch of scenes. Certainly,
Yeah.
that little circle that slides along that red Netflix bar has
Yeah.
whittled its way at least to beyond the halfway point, and I would click on it, and it somehow would push its way further back, and the little circle grew to a little face, a little frowny face, flipping me off. I think they were actually filming more movie and tacking it on to the end just to make me
As you were
watch more.
watching.
As I was watching, Russell Crowe was being CGI'd back to when he had abs,
Yeah.
because he does find a reason to pull off his shirt once or
Like,
twice
and
in this
how
thing.
old is he in that movie? He was a lot older than I thought Robin Hood should be. And I might
Yeah,
be biased because of the Errol Flynn version, or heck, the Disney version with the fox and the bear and everything, with Baloo as Little John or whatever. But like, my
no, no,
image of Robin Hood is not as this, like, middle-aged, uh,
no.
dude.
Robin Hood started his jaunty forest adventures at the age of 53. Just
Yeah.
as male pattern baldness started to sink
Yeah.
in, that's when he really nailed it and started to jauntily, spryly skip through the woods, tra la la, to postmenopausal Maid Marian.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone was really like, yeah, everyone was really old. Like,
Yeah, well, they were old, they were dirty, they were sad, they were
yeah,
tired, they were angry. Oh, except for the women of Nottingham, who are the horniest women I've ever seen. In the
yeah,
one scene where they throw a party, I guess,
yeah.
because Robin Hood's there, and Little John, Will Scarlet, and the third
Well, he's
guy.
pretending to be Robert Loxley or
Yeah,
Robert of
we don't
Locksley.
have to explain. It doesn't matter.
No,
They're
no,
at
but
a
here's my
party.
question. How did he
They,
come back to the town he grew up in and no one recognizes him because he's
it's
been
not.
away at
It's
war
not.
for 10
It's
years?
not the town he grew up in. It's the guy who he's replacing, whose town he grew up in, who is not recognized.
I know, but
Nobody
that's what I
cares.
mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. You said it wrong, but yes, no, it doesn't
Like,
matter.
how did they're like, oh,
He's been
well, I guess
he's
it has been 10 years, so
It's
his
been
face
10
is.
years.
Yeah, but
Nathan, you're the rare exception of the person who looks the same now as he did in university because you were basically balding at 20.
yes.
But for most people, they change over the course of 10, 15, 20 years. Also, nobody cares. Also, it's the Middle Ages. You just, you were too busy. Everyone was so pockmarked, it didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter,
But
I guess.
you're steering us away from the most important part, which is why is every single woman in Nottingham so goddamn horny?
Yeah.
When they have that party, the three of them show up and basically get gang raped by
Yes.
20 women. Um,
Yes.
in,
And I
in,
love how they
and
deliberately
then
broke
mention and a
into
whole
great big C tunes as well. That's what it sounded like. I'm sorry. I'm
basically.
just, no one else would notice. If you weren't Canadian, you wouldn't
Yes,
notice.
that's true.
But
I'm sure they asked Mr. Great Big Sea there to write the jaunty song they sing on that boat, and
oh,
then
I'm
another
sure.
jaunty song later. But they all
Yes.
sound this absolute same.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. The best part is at the end of the boat tune when Russell Crowe joins in singing the most emotionless, humorless version of that song.
Yeah.
It's I want just that track condensed, so just Russell Crowe. Or I guess I could just buy his album.
He
I
has
could
an
buy.
album.
He has a band. They're called
Oh
30
wow.
Odd. Well, okay, Nathan, did I just mention a music thing you didn't know?
Yeah. Well, a lot of
Oh
guys will
my
start
God.
like a lot of guys will start a band like Keanu Reeves and whatever else, right? Like they will do it as like a little side project.
I knew who 30 Odd Foot of Grunt are, and you don't, because that's the name of the band, by the way.
That's very true.
Look it up. Okay.
Okay. Have
What's
you?
the name of Keanu Reeves' band? Oh, you
Uh,
don't even know.
I don't even know.
Dog Star, baby.
Oh yes, that's right.
Oh,
I remember
Johnny
now.
Epps band. Oh, I forget. I don't know. They all have ridiculous bands. Look, the only album worth buying is Bruce Willis's "The Return of Bruno" album, maybe the greatest celebrity album of all time.
No, no, no,
Where
no. William Shatner.
William Shatner's border on good,
Well, the
like
one he did with
entertaining.
Ben Folds
Yeah,
is
it's
excellent.
good.
It's
It's a good
amazing.
album. No, it's a good album. No, no, I'm talking about it's Bruce Willis who thinks that he thinks that he's great and is putting out sort of like kind of bar band music where it'd be like, well, you can open for the other bar band. It's so good. Return of Bruno. Look it up,
Return
find it,
of Bruno.
listen to every song. It's absolutely the best. John Travolta has an album I still haven't heard that I would like to listen to at some point if I should be so lucky. But all of this going back to say that Russell Crowe is ridiculous. The movie is terrible. Ridley Scott is insane. He wanted to make Braveheart, and when he couldn't do that, he made Braveheart Men in Tights. And
Yes.
I would watch a sequel in a second if they made one.
Yeah.
They should make one now with like big
Yeah.
fat old Russell Crowe, but not make it like make it like 10 minutes. Say the story takes place 10 seconds after that last one ended, because
Yeah.
who cares? You know, he comes out of the cabin the next morning, like, time to do my first Robin Hooding. 900 pounds and 30 years later, whatever.
Yeah.
Because no, holy crap, that was 2000. It's been 9 years.
9 years.
He has
He
put
was
on 20 years in those 9 years
he
and
was he
80
was
pounds.
47. He was 47 when he made that movie.
Good God, he looks 81 now.
Well, you know what? I saw the trailer to what's it called?
Unhinged.
Unhinged. And it's hard to see him in it, like,
It's
because it
it's
doesn't
it's a movie
focus
that
on.
seems mostly shot in the rain
Yeah,
or
yeah,
in the dark or in like profile. It's weird.
yeah,
I am super excited to see it. I will
yeah,
be there opening day. I was super disappointed to see it wasn't filmed in Toronto. It really looked like Toronto in the trailers. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, don't tell me Fat Russell Crowe is in town, and I missed him. But no, no.
When are the theaters opening? Soon?
Oh, who knows? When is
Yeah,
anything anything? You know,
yeah.
tomorrow, a month, a year from now, never. I would be. I would be. I'm even trying to remember what's the last. Were your last movie in theaters ever might have been Sonic the Hedgehog, Nathan? How do you
Yes.
feel about that? What if Sonic the Hedgehog was the last movie you ever saw in a movie theater? How does that
Well,
feel like going out on that one?
you know what though? Honestly, it's not a bad movie. It isn't. It isn't. It
No,
isn't
I saw
terrible. If you
Nathan.
look
I
at
have
the
a
original shoot of the original CGI Sonic that they
wait,
had.
wait. Everybody, prepare for Nathan's hot take that the new Sonic is better. Here we go.
No, 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 no. It was just they fixed it, and
Yeah,
it is actually fun. It's a fun little movie. It's like
yeah.
nothing new, nothing exciting, but it's fun.
You should have done the ad copy
And it
for
was a
that film.
hit. It was a hit. It was actually like there will be a sequel. So
Nathan, I've been in quarantine for 2 months with a 4-year-old. Of course, I've watched Sonic the Hedgehog. You don't think that I watched that illegally like a month ago?
no, I don't know.
And
I thought
my review is the same. It's fine.
yes,
You know, he runs around for an hour and a half. There are
yes,
some rings, and at the end of the day, there is an ending.
yes.
It's fine.
Although
James
although he
James
kind of
Marsden walks
solves the
around.
same problem with this, like he can't faces a similar problem twice, and he solves it the same way both times, which is
You,
just to like.
you don't have to be cryptic. If someone hasn't watched Sonic the Hedgehog now, they don't care. Just be
Okay.
clear in what you. I don't want to spoil
I don't want to
this
ruin it.
3-month-old children's movie to the 3 people who might be listening to this.
Yes,
Fuck it, Nathan. I'll solve it for you. He saves the day. He
yes,
banishes
okay,
Robotnik to the Mushroom Kingdom, and he's happy. And he stays back in fucking New Jersey or wherever he is.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah.
That's the movie. What were you so preciously holding on to there?
Well, no, no, no. It was just he does the Quicksilver type stuff where if you've seen the X-Men or
Yes, it's the new
Ultron,
thing. If you
where they're running around and turning things and
yes,
making because they move so fast, the rest of the world goes in slow motion, and
Yeah. And
it's a great comic
and
effect.
what's your hot take on that?
It was he needed to solve the problem differently the second time. That was what I was disappointed. It was lazy writing.
Oh, sorry, you're accusing Sonic the Hedgehog of lazy writing?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay. Ooh, hot burn, Sonic the
I would
Hedgehog.
say the detective Pokemon had better writing.
Yeah, good job almost getting the title of that right.
Well, it's what, Detective Pikachu or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow, you really work on that second syllable. Say it again. Say what he
What?
is. Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, it's just Pikachu.
No, that's what I said,
Pikachu? What are you?
Pikachu.
Are you like a 14-year-old Japanese girl going around Shibuya? Hee Pikachu. Are you a Pokemon?
Maybe.
Nobody says Pikachu like that, except well,
Well,
you.
I still say some words that way
Are
in
you are
with
you
a
still
Japanese
are you still
accent.
wondering? Are you watching? Are you the last person walking around Kitchener doing that fucking Pokemon app, catching Pokemon on
No,
your
no.
phone?
Our friend Jeremy is big time, but
Still,
yeah. Oh yeah.
even
No,
in even in these days
he
of
goes
social
out for
distancing.
5 kilometer walks where he collects Pokemon.
Excellent. To do what with exactly? I never
Uh,
quite got the next part.
well, I guess you build up your Pokemon so you can like take control of gyms and
Right?
beat up
Oh
on
my
other
God,
Pokemons.
I'm so bored hearing
I
your
played
description of it.
Pokemon Go at its peak. I played it for about 2 days and I was bored. And it's
Okay.
like it's like back in the day Farmville. I played Farmville for 2 days. I'm like, I don't get it.
I did get to experience Pokemon Go right at that moment where they made the news in Toronto because of the
Yes.
jammed crowds by the ferry dock.
Yeah.
Because I guess all the Pokemon were right by the ferry dock for some nonsense reason, and this happened 2 days. Like they had released Pokemon Go, and I went to the island 2 days later,
Yeah.
and I went early in the morning because nerds don't get up until noon because
Yeah.
that's when their parents go down to their basements and kick the doors in. But when I got off the ferry coming back, there were like a billion people all staring in random directions on cell phones to the point where I thought maybe there was a terrorist attack. And
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a little like, what is going on? Why is everyone on their phone? Are
Yeah.
we under attack? Is this the end? Um, and no, they were all fucking trying to grab squigillaxes or squirtle butts or I don't know whatever the fuck
Yeah.
they're called. I don't care.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was an odd time because you'd be driving down the road and there'd be an open field with like this crowd of people just standing in the middle of it, or like and
but
then
to
they
be
disperse all of a sudden. It was so weird.
yeah,
Oh
but
my
to be fair,
gosh,
you live in Kitchener, so that might have just been
that
people
might have
standing in
just
a
been
field.
normal. Yeah,
Yeah, just sort of people going out there going, well, I'm out of ideas. You two want to stand in the field? Sure.
and
This is the hot, it's the
all
hottest nightclub in Kitchener.
all the complaints because of all the crowds that would be in parks at like two in the morning and making so much noise that we're keeping the neighbors up and all. Oh man, those were the
Look,
days. That was
I,
news at one point. That
yeah,
was
Nathan,
that was the worst thing we had to deal with at one point.
with all the social distancing and spending all day with the kid, the only time I get to walk the streets is at night. I might start Pokemon going. I might open a fucking
Might as
gym and
well.
put these Pokemon on the Bowflex or whatever you do with your Pokemon gym. I don't quite know what one does with a Pokemon once they go to the gym. Is it the same thing as other people? Like you get the Pokemon in the gym and then they go really a lot for the first week, and then the second week they go
Yeah,
once, and
yeah,
then after that all the Pokemon just tell each other that they're totally going to go back this week.
yeah.
And does everyone just do all their Pokemon going in January, then a little in February, and then never again?
Yeah.
See, because I'm making a hilarious joke where I'm talking about
Yes.
real gyms. Yeah, I'm going to explain my gag.
Yeah. You didn't
Anyway,
have to.
with
I
that
think
being
we all
said,
got it, but thanks.
I think you're very optimistic using the term "they all got it."
Hey,
I think.
your image is frozen. We still have your voice, but
Oh, I know because
it froze in a
I'm
way where
fine.
your eye sockets are totally black. So it looks like either you've got sunglasses on or you literally are a ghoul and you have no
I'm
eyes.
back, baby.
Back, there you
Um,
go.
I did that on purpose because I even out here, even away from my dual screen computer, I have prepared in advance complicated things to do and figured
There
out
you
in
go.
advance how to do them on my phone because I do my homework, baby. I didn't figure out where my
You
keys
don't
were
even
or where
need
the lights
two
were.
screens. You
That's
you
right.
normally you're just like looking this way, like, yeah,
That's
oh
right.
yeah, yeah.
Because Nathan, unbeknownst to you, it is time once again for a recurring segment on this show called Nathan and
Nick-
Andrew Couples Counseling.
Oh, couples counseling. What's that?
I was giving you a second for the theme music that you've got to
Oh,
understand. Now that I say the name of segments and you know that your job is to put music in, you shouldn't have to ask when I take a dumb
but
pause
why'd you
after
do this though?
I'm
It
pointing to
says,
where you're also definitely going to put the graphic in above my head
oh,
that
your
says
finger
couples
was cut
counseling.
off. It looked like you were just doing like, hang on, yeah, looked like
There
you
you
were
go.
just doing this. And I'm like, well,
Okay.
what does that mean?
Come on.
Because the finger part
It's
was cut off.
hey, it's me going, hey, suck a
It
donut
was like
hole or
this.
something.
It was like
No.
this.
Anyway, thank you for inserting the theme song retroactively
Yes, yes.
for one of our new recurring segments where Nathan and I try and test our relationship and or fix it or see if it's worth saving. And then at the end of this whole COVID deal, when this podcast wraps up, we will of course make a final decision whether we speak to each other ever again. Or we could just do it as an online survey. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought this time um, I wanted to use a more scientific approach because last time we did a kind of dating game thing, which I think probably took 45 minutes and was just death to listen to.
Yeah.
But Nathan gave it the unqualified high thumbs up of it wasn't as bad as you think. But
Well, I
I
think a
thought,
lot of when you're trapped in a bad comedy bit, I think your sense of time gets distorted and it
Nathan,
feels a lot longer than it actually.
do you know how hurt I am that you're calling my genuine attempts to help our relationship a comedy bit?
Yes.
That is hurtful, sir. I've done one comedy bit since we started this thing, and that was my bad impression of the Premier of Quebec.
Yes.
And calling that a comedy bit is like
Yes.
8 ways of generous.
I don't think
So
you've watched it since, have you?
no, I'm gonna go back and watch all of these things at some point when this
Yeah.
is, basically my prayer is, and supposedly according to the timelines, the next thing that gets opened down the road are daycares, in which case I'm
Yes.
throwing my daughter in so hard in that daycare I'm going to leave a Beatrice-sized hole in the wall from this house where she's going to arc through space and then land in the yard of that daycare. I will wrap her in 15 masks if I have to. I will dip her in sanitizer. I will buy her a hazmat suit if that's what they're doing. I don't give a shit. The moment I can have a day to myself, that's when I go back and watch the Free Cheeses, and that's when I,
Yes.
exercise for the first time in like 3 goddamn months. You know,
And
anything.
while
I'll
you're
go.
there, be sure to check out the other Free Cheese episodes that I've been dutifully uploading. I'm up to episode 18 of
Oh, good
the
God!
original
Classic Free Cheese.
Master series.
You realize that this is just you, right?
Yes, oh yes. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if we've talked about this on the air, but there is another YouTube channel called Free Cheese Podcast, and that's why we had to go with
Yes,
Free
I've
Cheese
seen
the
that guy.
Podcast. But that guy has
That's right.
346 videos, and most of them have been seen 4 or 5 times. It
Excellent.
is
Well, hey,
hilarious. So we're no
well,
worse
Nathan,
than that. I think we can do better.
I would, by the way, I would like to point out that Nathan has bragged repeatedly on this podcast about his other YouTube channel where they talk about games online. And
Yes.
your biggest showing video, what's the number on that video? How
I
many?
think it's right now it's 360 views.
Yes, I'd like to point out that less than a week ago, I put a video up online that already has
Yes,
1,200
that
views
was
and growing. So
yes.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
it took
because it
me.
was for this it was emailed out to all your school kids.
Hey, you send your video out to the world of nerds out there.
Well,
You
no,
just have
I've
to
got to
learn
get
to.
the word out. That's the problem. People
Well, then you should
have
figure out a
yet to
better channel.
discover the
Nathan,
genius that is that channel.
look, first of all, 1,200 views, that's more kids than go to Malvern, baby. So there are many people who are watching this beyond these kids. I'm a genius. Do you want me to make videos for your website? Do you think that would help? Do you want me to
Hey,
come
if
in
you
there
want
and
to, sure.
look, I'll put the daddy pants on. Can I make Andrew talking about how to play a game video for your website
Yeah,
called
sure.
like special teams where someone who doesn't care about games comes on and talks about game strategy? Cut
Huh?
back to me pointing to the title segment for
Okay,
this
yes, I
same bit,
will. I
which is,
will.
of course, Nathan and Andrew, couples counseling. There we go. Like I said, last time we did the little game, but this time I wanted to go a little more scientific. So I went with what was, I think at the time, a pretty famous sort of questionnaire that a lot of couples were doing. This is about 5 or 6 years out of date, but it was so famous it made its way onto the Big Bang Theory at some point.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, which was the sort of online test for this, and there are parts of this that I've left out and just sort of kept the question segment of it. But I have 15 questions here. I don't know if we want to go through all of them because that seems like a whole lot of questions.
Well, it
But
depends if they're quick multiple choice.
oh, they're not even multiple choice. They're just kind of yes/no questions that we just
Okay.
need
Well,
to
we
agree
can
on.
zip through them. Why not?
All right, so the idea is here is that we're gonna have 15 questions, and if
Okay.
we get more yes than no, then we're probably in good shape.
Okay.
But basically, the more
You want
no's
me to
we
keep
have,
score?
oh yes, please, because
Okay.
okay, you got a score keep handy.
I do.
All right, so you're ready, Nathan. I have to. You're looking at a frozen image of me now because I
Yes.
am looking at this quiz. All right. Question number 1: does your
Yeah.
partner make you a better person, and do you do the same for them? Well, I think
I
that's a
think
pretty hard.
yes
That's
to you. I make you a better person, but I don't think the reverse is true.
See, I don't think you've done anything to make me a better person. What have you done? What can you take credit for? Go ahead.
Um,
Tell me
I
how
just,
you've
I
improved me.
think just keeping the lid on you during these shows over 3 iterations that in and of
How is
itself.
how has that improved me as the person? If
Because you would have
anything,
been
it has
out of
just made
control otherwise. You would have spun off into insanity.
out of control. What does that even mean? You've done nothing, and how does that make me a better person in the long run?
Okay, let's not
So
fight
you've
about this on the
so
first
I'm
question.
well. If we both can't agree on a yes, then it's a no. So that is a
It's a
hard
no, yes.
no.
That's a default.
And for me making you a better person, you can't you can't turn a pile of shit into a delicious shit sandwich. You got to work with what you got. And I got nothing to work with. All right, number 2. Are
Okay.
you and your partner both comfortable with sharing feelings, relying on each other, being close, and able to avoid worrying about the other person leaving? Oh, that's a hard yes. I've never held back on my feelings, and
Oh,
I know
yeah,
you're not going
that's true.
anywhere, you little bitch. You're going to stay and take it until the end of time, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think we're stuck with each other, so
Yeah,
I'll say yes.
I think so. Yeah,
Yes.
you like being hurt. Okay, so we're one
Yeah.
of one. All right, here we go. Do you and your partner accept each other for who you are without trying to change the other one? Well, I am constantly trying to change you, but I know it's hopeless. So
And ditto.
yes.
Yes.
So let's
I
do a
think that's a
soft.
yes. I
That
think
gets a
yes.
soft yes. All right,
Yeah,
we're winning.
I think I could go for that.
When disagreements arise, do you and your partner communicate respect? No,
No,
and without no.
no.
No, no,
God, no.
hard no. Don't need to finish the question. No. Do you and your partner share decision making, power, and influence? No, 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 we
Well,
do
the
not.
power and influence we wield as the purveyors of free cheese,
Yeah,
uh, it's
I,
not much
I,
power, but we wield it more or less as a partnership, don't we?
no, it doesn't mean, no, we mean like between the two of us. Yeah, do we share equally in power and influence? I let you think that you have some say in things, so I guess that's working. So let's take that as it. Let's give ourselves a yes.
Okay,
Sure.
let's do that.
Let's give it a yes. Is your partner your best? No. Okay, we'll skip right past that one. You're like 5 on my list. So that's good. You're still up there. And I know I'm yours, but I don't need
Yeah,
to make
well,
you
yeah,
say it. Yeah,
yeah.
obviously. Okay, that's so 7. Do you and your partner think more in terms of we and us more than you and
No,
I? No, it's all
no,
me.
absolutely.
It's all I. Jesus Christ, no. Whew, what a terrible question. What a terrible, what a
Indeed.
horrible thought to think of me thinking
Yeah,
about your feelings.
God, gives me
Would
the
you and your
chills.
would you and your partner trust each other with passwords and bank accounts? And no.
Oh, God, no.
Well, no. You know what? I take that back. I would trust you, but you would not trust me.
No, that's
No,
very
actually, wait. What am I saying? Jesus Christ! You work for Primerica. Keep the fuck away from my money.
yeah, yeah.
No, God, no. Jesus, I can't believe I even briefly contemplated you looking at my finances. You, thank you. No, if I want to throw money at a pyramid, I'll go to Egypt and just
Yeah.
donate. All
Okay.
right, 9. Do you the okay? That's his way of saying move on, sir.
Move on.
Every time I say pyramid, it makes Nathan nervous. I think if I say it 3 times, it's like Candyman, the president of Primerica,
Yeah.
comes out and go, did
Yeah.
somebody find out? Does
Something like
somebody
that.
know? And Nathan's like, I'm tamping down on this. A client or customer might listen to this podcast, and then they'll look up pyramid scheme and
I
they'll
doubt
drop me like
anyone's
that.
listening to this podcast.
Oh, I'm gonna see. This is because look, you're talking to Mr. 1200 views here. I'll find a way to publicize.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right, next.
sure.
You still keeping track of our yeses and nos here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
Okay, here we go.
we're
Number
question.
9.
This is number 9, right? Yep.
Number
I've
9.
got.
Yeah, don't give us the running tally. I wanna
Yeah.
find out at the end. Do you and your partner have good opinions of each? Okay. Number 10. Well, actually, the second part is without having an overinflated positive view. Definitely the second part of that question.
Definitely not overinflated. I mean, I suppose we do a podcast together, so we must have a certain base kind of. I don't know if respect is the right word, but
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what word we're looking for here.
understanding.
Yeah, let's go with an understanding. Let's give ourselves a yes, call it an understanding, and move forward.
Okay.
Number 10. Do your close friends as well as your partner's close friends think you have a great relationship that will stand the test of time?
Well, we've been
Should we?
friends
Should,
for
yeah, but
20 years.
this isn't our opinion. This is our friend's opinion. If they think we're gonna last,
Yeah, I think they figure we're gonna last.
yeah, probably.
I'd
Okay,
say
we'll leave that there. We should text somebody just to check.
just to double check.
I'm on my phone. You text somebody that we know together that's awake right now, and find out. Okay.
Okay,
Just
what am
text
I
out of
asking them? I assume,
ask them just
I don't know,
a
Jeff.
quick question. Jeff's asleep. Quick question out of nowhere to like Peter or something. Do you think Andrew and I will be friends forever? just throw that out on Facebook or something. Throw it out to anyone you can
I'm
think
gonna
of who might
text
be.
them.
Text.
Do you think Andrew and I are going to be
I will
friends forever? Question mark.
There, just throw that out and see what you
Just
get.
a completely random question at 1 a.m.
Perfect. Number 12. Do you and your partner share the same values when it comes to politics? Nope. Religion? Probably. The importance of let's just go with a hard no there.
Yeah, we'll just say no.
Yeah, no. You definitely voted for Doug Ford. Not denying it. Number 13.
No.
Are you and your
You
partner?
wanted me to vote for Kathleen Wynne? Are you kidding me? No way.
You could have voted for a pile of wet shoes. That would have worked.
Would have been better than her. But anyway. Well, you wanted free cheese to be more topical and current. There you go. So this is question 12, right?
That was question 12.
Oh, okay.
You've lost count already, haven't you?
Well,
You
I'm
missed
one behind. I'm one behind.
Oh wait,
what was
no.
the question
You know
before
what? Sorry,
that?
no. My apologies. My mistake. I skipped past the question.
Oh,
So
okay. See,
So here's
there you go.
this is question 12. Is your relationship free of red flags like cheating, jealousy, or controlling behavior? Oh no. The
Well,
main
you're
goal is
jealous of me.
and my main goal is to control your behavior. Name one thing I am jealous about you. Go for it. Name it. You said it. Is it the bald hair? Nope. You're living in Kitchener? You're what?
My background in Zoom here.
Oh, I thought you meant your background. Like, I wish I was a dirt farmer from fuck nowhere with a receipt. Okay. Oh, I should probably be quieter. Are you going off to bed? Okay. Good night.
Good night.
No problem. Night. Oh, I thought for a second I was getting in trouble, but that was just Meadow going off to sleep. Oh, I should probably also at some point wish her a happy birthday. All right, question.
Well, we spent my 10th anniversary doing this show, so
yeah, so now I'm Meadow's birthday.
Your wife's birthday.
Well, I mean, it's technically today, but really tomorrow. So, all right. Let's see.
It's already tomorrow. It's 1 a.m.
There we go. Number 13. Are you and your partner willing to sacrifice your own needs and desires for each other?
No.
Oh, hard no. I am only doing this because it is convenient for me and
Yeah.
it's keeping me from going insane. And I'm so desperate for company at this point that you have actually seemed like an acceptable possibility.
When you said, "Hey, let's record this Monday around midnight," I actually thought you were joking initially, but
Nope.
turns out that's the only time you can do it.
That's right, baby. This is how desperate I am for company. I am talking to you voluntarily for long sections of the week. But yeah, sacrifice my needs, no. Okay, 14. Do you and your partner both have agreeable and emotionally stable personalities?
Yes,
Oh,
I'm very agreeable.
yeah. I agree that you think you're agreeable. No, no, definitely no. I'm
You're not
emotionally.
you're generally not that agreeable, but you have your moments.
you-
What do you think?
uh, and I certainly think you're agreeable. So let's go with those. Um,
So that'll be a
but
yes?
uh, let's give it a yes just for the sake of trying to
Okay.
win this thing.
Yeah, we're
And
trying to save our relationship, don't forget. We've
and
got
15
one
is a
question
15
left.
is a hard yes. Are you and your partner sexually compatible? Oh, definitely. You have those womanly like features that make you hard to resist. Because my ultimate sex dream is the woman, is that bald woman from the first Star Trek movie, uh, whom you resemble exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a big hard yes on that.
That's why
Uh,
I wear glasses so that I'm not mistaken for her by accident
and
on the
and and I
street.
know that you are turned on by a young Dom DeLuise, which I have been
Who is
told
it?
that I resemble, or a later day Jim Belushi. Both looks I'm trying to cultivate.
Yeah.
So where does that put us?
Well, I was
A passing score
assuming
being
that last
8.
one is a yes. We
Oh,
still
definitely.
failed.
Oh
7 to 8.
no. Oh well.
Oh
It
well.
was a soft fail.
It was close. It was closer than I thought.
Well, there you
Could
go.
have been worse.
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't we play a song, and when we
Yes.
come back, we will emotionally recover.
As long as you remember to email it to me
Oh, you
at
betcha,
some point.
baby. And let's bore more people with the things that are happening off mic.
Well, I want to know, is this another COVID-19 composition by none other than Andrew
You-
Patterson?
You're gonna have to listen to it to find out.
Oh, all
And
right.
here it is. 2, 3, 4. All right.
I have often walked down the street before, but I've never kept a distance of 6 feet before. Every second I'm certain that I'll die, terrified on the street where I live. Don't gather in groups just because it's spring. Do you still not know the rules to social distancing? I feel more secure behind my locked door than I do on the street where I live. And oh, the horrible feeling just to hear a cough or a sneeze. That overpowering feeling that at any second you might contract a disease. Those guys over there really bother me, 'cause I'm sure they're not all immediate family. Time to call the cops. I'll make sure this stops. Get the hell off the street where I live.
And we're back.
No, we can't say "and we're back."
Okay. Well, since I don't actually know what the song that I'm going to throw in here this week is,
Okay.
and we're back is as good a coming back as anything I can think of.
So you're not going to introduce the song then?
No, I got no idea. I think I have an
I
idea, but
love how our podcast still has one song in the middle of it for no
well,
reason.
you can't let this go entire. It needs something to break this up. It
Yes,
needs
that's
someone
true.
who hates the banter to have one thing to look forward to. 'Cause that's who we're gonna listen to. I hate that show, but they always do kind of a clever song halfway in the middle. So
I
I
love
listen
how
to it
our
all.
own wives won't even listen to our show. That our creative output is
Yeah, well,
completely
uh, my own wife hasn't listened to a thing I've had to say for
for many
a while,
years.
and more power to her for it because there's nothing good coming out of here. I have lost most of my ability to speak at this point. It has only taken a couple months of being away from people on a regular basis. I'm almost exclusively around a 4-year-old all the time.
Yes.
Um, my conversation with Meadow over the last 2 months is basically the same thing, which is, "Hey, do you have a second?" And her going, "Tappity, typity, type, just a sec, just okay, just a minute. Okay, what? Okay, typey, typey, type." And then Beatrice going, "Do you want to play unicorns? Do you want to play princesses? Do you want to
Oh,
play princess unicorns?"
yeah.
And I say, "Can we play murder suicide?" That got dark fast.
Yeah. So what
The toys would murder suicide each other. We would just watch. Um,
so what
oh,
like
I'm looking
yeah.
at a raccoon, by the way, right where I'm sitting. There's a
Oh
raccoon
man.
going for a little stroll.
In Toronto, those raccoons are gigantic.
In Kitchener,
The
are they
biggest
mayor? Is that
raccoons
the
I've
deal?
ever seen live in
How
Toronto.
what percentage of the Kitchener City Council are raccoons or squirrels or what nonsense you have going on up there?
Oh man.
We elected a mailbox as mayor. We're silly like that. Nobody gives a shit. It's Kitchener. The roads don't face the right direction. Don't care. Quick, what's the name of the mayor of Kitchener?
It's tough to pronounce. It's
So you
it's
don't know.
Jerry Verbanik, I think is how you say it.
Oh wow, you can't even say your own mayor's name.
No, but it's not. It's let me spell it.
No, don't spell
You
it.
tell
Nobody
me.
cares.
You tell me how to pronounce it
Okay,
because
go.
it is ridiculous.
All right.
All right. So it's Verbanovc.
Rabavnik. Rabavnich. He's good. He's a good Polish
It's
name.
Verban. I guess it's maybe Verbanovich is probably how
Yeah,
it's actually
I was gonna
pronounced.
say,
It's not Jerry. It's actually Barry,
white
but I was
white
close.
man from the middle of Ontario. You know, there are other cultures that have other ways of saying words than yours.
Yes, I
Well,
know.
this is a crazy name because it is not Smith or Jones.
Well, sometimes when they cram a whole bunch of consonants together like that, it's just hard to know where to begin.
All right, white guy with an Asian last name.
Yes.
There are other cultures out there with other spellings. You have to learn them sometimes. Come to crazy raccoon Toronto sometime.
Yes.
Freak out when you see a black person, but once you calm down, you'll be okay. By the way, in an amusing Freechy story, when in first year university, Nathan came to Toronto with me one time,
Oh
and
gosh.
never have I seen the country mouse be more freaked out by the city than
Oh
Nathan in
yes.
Toronto in first year university. Had you been to Toronto before you came with me? Had you been five
Just
miles from Fergus?
yeah, but it was more like you just went to like the science center and you went to like a specific thing. I've never been to the X, so I've never actually seen those crowds.
Sorry, what are you talking about? The X? We weren't at the X. We were in
No,
just
no. But
downtown
I'm just saying,
Toronto.
big city. Like we would go to like a specific location. We'd park nearby and we'd walk there, and then we'd go home. So like,
So the Toronto is the X to you. That is Toronto in a nutshell.
no, no. I'm just saying. When you wander around like Yonge Street on a Saturday night, it's crazy. There's people everywhere.
We weren't on Yonge Street on a Saturday night. We were on Bay Street on a Friday afternoon. It was daytime out. A homeless person asked you for change, and you turtled into yourself like Dana Carvey in The Master of Disguise. I've never seen someone look so panicked by a homeless person asking for change.
Well,
Hey,
he approached in a very bizarre way. Let's put it that way.
you mean with his hand out asking for
No,
change?
no. He approached like he was kind
Are
of
you
like
only
with
being
arms
used to be
outstretched. And
in
like,
first year university?
I'm like,
Nathan was
whoa.
only used to being coached by tractor because he grew up in
Yes.
Fergus. I need someone coming at me at 3 kilometers an hour, towing seed. That's what I'm used to. This is terrifying.
Yeah.
Good God. You had just gotten over the shell shock of moving to the urban metropolis of Hamilton and
Yes.
probably not going more than 2 blocks from the university.
But even then, I was on campus that year. Like I
That's
didn't,
true. You
we
were,
didn't. I'd
but now
venture
you've
out to your little house down the street a little ways.
but now
I
you've
didn't,
bravely ventured to the thrilling metropolis of Kitchener. So you finally,
Yes.
really connected with the world. This is by the way, I'm now on my back porch where I realize I have a back porch light
Oh,
that
perfect.
sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So
You
I
gotta
may
keep
flash
moving.
in and out of the darkness like Batman, which will be
You have
very
to keep
exciting.
moving because it's motion detector.
Yep, kind of. Also, it's not exactly boiling out here, so I'm gonna do a little dance while there we go. Come on. Hey. You know what? Wait, of course. What am I, an idiot? I have a rocking chair. That's constant motion. Plus,
Yeah.
there's steps right behind me, so one rock backwards, and you might
This
witness
is
my
worse
death.
than Jason Bourne. You're gonna make all of our YouTube fans sick.
There we go.
You're gonna
Only
make
the
everyone
Paul,
sick. Motion sickness.
only the later Paul Greengrass, Jason Bourne's, where it's
Yeah, I
basically
know.
camera,
Oh man.
camera, a washing machine. That's good stuff.
I just remember the early Jason Bourne was like, wow, that's so cool. And then later on, it's just, oh
Yeah,
man, this is just
it's just somebody
disorienting and weird.
vibrating a camera to a
Yeah.
point of nausea. It's really exciting.
It's actually I've been very put off.
Rock.
I've been very put off shaky cam as a camera technique. It's just don't bother.
The rest of us were put off by shaky cam 10 years ago, but way to get on that train there, Country Mouse.
Yes,
Let's start
I
calling
got
you
there
Country Mouse
eventually.
again.
I got there eventually.
So I've come to our usual post music segment,
Yes,
which is of course what?
your parents are crazy.
No. I've done it 3 weeks in a row. What do I always do?
Nicolas
Post
Cage.
it. That's right. I have a Nicolas Cage activity for us once
All
again.
right.
I don't know if this is becoming amusing or an annoying thing to do. I don't care. I'm more just trying to see if I could come up with an original Nicolas Cage idea every time.
Every single time.
Every single-
one where you had to combine movie titles, that was hard.
Oh my God! Are we gonna open every time with you bitching about that?
Yes,
Because
I am.
I think really you're just kind of ashamed you did badly, and so you like want to remind
Kind of.
people that you did badly because it was quote hard. Well,
Yeah.
this one should be its own kind of challenge for you.
Okay.
So this is this week's edition of Cage Match. Is that what we called
The
it? I
lights
can't
go out. That was very dramatic.
Is that what we called this segment? I can't
Yes,
remember
it's cage
anymore.
match. Ready?
Cage
No.
match, baby.
Now that we can see you, cage match.
There we go. Cage match. Here we go. So this week's edition of Cage Match, I've done an activity where I have taken some of our more popular TV shows and films, and
Yeah.
I've thought very carefully about if I was to recast one of the parts with Nicolas Cage, which would
Yeah.
make the most sense.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can predict the answers that I selected.
All right. This sounds
um,
doable.
And I think if you really think about it, you will get them all wrong because I'm guessing you're going to be bad at this.
Okay.
So just to give you a sample of one, I'll give you the easiest lowball, obvious one that if
All
they
right.
were to film Seinfeld today, Nicolas Cage would be
Kramer.
obviously.
Yes.
That is the world's easiest choice.
Yes.
But we want to get a little
and
trickier
actually,
here. So
I think he would actually do a good Kramer. Actually, give him
oh,
the
he would
hair.
do a great Kramer.
Yeah.
And same Kramer, less racism. That would be good.
Yes, that would be good.
That would be good to have Nicolas Cage, plenty crazy person, but not racist as far as I know. He
Yeah.
is nuts. Did I ever tell you I saw a film of his in the Toronto Film Festival. Now, he did not come to the film because he's got other things to do with his time, but he
Yes.
recorded a video for it.
Oh.
So there was it clearly recorded at just like a country club on a patio where he's like got his camera out and made this video. And it was just like this hilarious rambling. It was some film called Dog Eat Dog, I think it was called. It was bad. It was not a good
Yeah.
movie, but his intro to it was better than the film, where he just sort of wandered his way through a little unprepared speech of, "Hi, Toronto, you're sitting watching a movie. I made that movie. It was a while ago. I'm in it. It's got some stuff. People like those things." He like has a sip of his cocktail. "I'm out here in this place. They're mowing the lawn." He just starts looking at things and seeing what he's talking about. It was. I could have watched that for an hour and a half. There was sort of a zen beauty to it. So, by all accounts, like no great stories of his generosity, but at least he's not a monster. He has yet to be Me Too'd, and he has to be insane, and he has yet to be, called out for screaming at people on an improv stage. That
Yes.
if they were black, they would be, quote, hanging from a tree, Kramer's words, not
Yes.
mine. So anyway,
Yeah.
there was your low ball. Now let's go to some more challenging ones. Friends. Which of the 6 friends do you think
Ross.
he? Wow, right away, and almost because he does actually almost look like Ross.
Well,
Yeah.
it was the physical that. I mean, who else is
Yeah.
he going to be? Rachel? Like,
Well, people forget that he has 2 speeds, and everyone remembers like high level Cage,
Yeah.
but there's also like hangdog Cage of like, oh, and Ross was both of those things.
Yes.
Ross was the fucking Nicolas Cage of Friends.
he was.
It's
Nicolas Cage can be funny when he wants to be.
yeah, no, Nicolas Cage, I think if David Schwimmer had died, Nicolas Cage could have stepped in
Yes.
without missing a beat and
Yes, I think
just
so.
smoothed his way right in there. All right, on Sesame Street, who do you think Nicolas Cage could have been?
Oh, now that's a bit trickier. I'm going to go with the Count.
Nah, baby, the Count's the Count. Try again.
You can't see him. You've seen his alphabet, right?
I've seen.
Imagine
Oh yes,
him
I can.
counting numbers.
1, 2. Okay, I can see that, but
Okay.
I would be happy, I suppose, reaching the end of those numbers. But the problem with the Count, there's a limiting factor to the Count, which is the Count never spent much time on the street. The Count was mostly for those interstitial bits. They would cut to his
Yes.
castle, or he might have a song, because the Sesame Street, it was daytime, right? So the Count
Yes.
couldn't come out, or he'd have fucking burned alive, which would have been an exciting episode if the Count wandered out of the street,
It would have been
burst into
tragic
flames.
than Mr. Hooper's death.
I have 5 seconds to live. 4 seconds. Oh, it burns. 3 seconds. There go my feet. Like that would have been dope. I can't believe they didn't ever do that on the Sesame Street.
Some episodes which were partly at night. Remember the lights would
Yeah.
light up and everything?
No, I do not remember the lights lighting up on Sesame Street. But anyway, try again.
Who else would he be? The only one that makes any sense to me would be Oscar the Grouch.
No, first of all, too obvious. No, he, I think, would make the next logical Mr. Hooper. Do you remember?
Really?
Well, do you remember how Mr. Hooper would always get upset when Big Bird would get
a
hit?
long time ago, man.
Big Bird would get his name wrong, and he called him like Mr. something else, Mr. Looper.
Yeah,
So he goes, "It's
yeah.
Hooper Bird, Hooper." Now, can you imagine Nicolas Cage fucking losing his mind on Big Bird when Big Bird would
Yes.
stroll up and go, "Hey, Mr. Hooper!" It's like, "I've told you, it's Hoover, Hoover."
I've told
It's
you
too.
1,000 times.
That would be so good if he'd like
1,000.
just grab like fucking Big Bird's beak, pin it to the bar, and scream in his goddamn face until he got his name right. That would be so good. And like slowly the Muppets no longer come around Hoover's store, and it's just him like, "Why don't people come by anymore?"
He goes out of
And
business because
Only Elmo comes by because Elmo is completely oblivious, and turns out Elmo likes getting hit a little bit, and he's kind of into it. Like, I can see this thing being Cracker Jack's good if you gave him the store just
Yeah.
to slowly watch the divide on Sesame Street. Anyway, that's the
Okay, that's a good
obviously
pick.
the logical
I
choice.
see where you're at, where you're going, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
see my logic too in those. So
Yeah, I see nothing. I see why mine is better is what I see. All right.
okay,
The next one is, let's go with The Simpsons. Voice on The Simpsons.
the voice on The Simpsons. Um, hmm.
And this is actually, I really have
Sideshow
this.
Bob.
Sideshow Bob is perfect. It's Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer is in his own way insane.
Yes, I
Uh,
know.
gun,
But that's why I saw the parallel.
gun-toting
Uh,
lunatic. It's just Kelsey Grammer. No. I'm thinking actually of solving a current problem they have, which is that Hank Azaria has said he no longer is going to be doing the voice of Apu.
yes.
Citing that after 30 years of doing an offensive stereotype, I was like, you know what? I've been listening, and after 30 years, I think it's about time to hang this shingle up.
Yeah.
So I think that the best way to go is to keep the character and just have him talk like Nicolas Cage now. I think that would
Yeah.
be fucking crazy. Because it would just be great. It would just be, who would complain if
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage was saying thank you, come again. I see now that I see Nicolas Cage definitely as shop owners. I think I'm really
Yeah,
into
I think
that
that's
notion.
right. That's
I think
his,
maybe because in my heart of hearts, I want Nicolas Cage to run a shop near my house so I can just stroll over and buy things from him and be terrified and can't wait to go back. I wonder, how is Nicolas Cage doing with social distancing? Because it can't be good. Because he
No.
seems to me like the kind of guy who he just walks up to you and grabs you by the face and goes, "I'll have a Big Mac," and then throws you back over the counter at McDonald's.
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that. Yeah, I
but
don't know. That's funny.
maybe he's just going around the house doing it to, I assume, his many dogs, cats, and squirrels, or whatever the fuck he keeps
Yeah.
in whatever, backwoods cabin that he lives in. All right,
Okay.
next. So I have 3 categories here:
Yeah.
Star Wars the original, Star Wars the prequels, and then Star Wars the new ones. So in the original
Okay.
Star Wars, it's kind of obvious.
Oh, Han Solo, I think.
Yeah, like it would be fantastic. Hey kids, you like heroic Han Solo? How about an insane Han Solo? How about a crazy ape dog who may kiss Leia or may choke her to death? You don't know. He's fucking
Well,
nuts.
he was originally in the casting for roles and like Superman and all that in that era.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was viewed
Oh,
very differently.
They did
But
test. Oh no, look, hey, he's the star of the fucking Rock. He's an action hero.
yes, that's
He's
true.
this. He is an action man. So yeah, he could have been Han Solo because he's got that hero vibe, but he's also insane, which would have been super
Yeah, it
exciting.
would have
All right,
would have given him a bit of edge.
all right. For the prequels,
For the prequels, I know you're probably going to say Jar Jar, but I'm going to
no,
say
no. Don't go so obvious. Take a second. Nobody should ever touch Jar Jar. Jar Jar is
Palpatine.
gold.
Palpatine.
No. I went with Darth Grievous. Do you remember Darth Grievous?
Yeah, the robot, the robot
Yes.
guy with 4 lightsabers.
Yeah, you know why Darth Grievous? Because Darth Grievous was useless. He was maybe the
It's not
biggest
Darth
disappointment.
Grievous. It's General
Or
Grievous. He's not a
oh,
Darth.
who gives a shit?
He's
Grievous.
a General Grievous.
See, and that's why he's
That's
so
why I'm
fucking
like General
forgettable.
Grievous. Who?
They made an
Or
8.
You said
they
Darth
made-
Grievous. I'm like, what?
They made a robot scorpion that had 8 arms and wielded lightsabers in each one, and he's still the most forgettable character in those movies. He comes on one scene, gets his ass whooped, and they're done with him. I'm like, but he was such a okay. But if he was Nicolas Cage, you'd care.
Oh,
You'd
yes, that's
remember.
true.
You'd know. More people than you would have known I was wrong when I said Darth Grievous,
That's true.
because he is 8 kinds of bullshit. That guy.
Well, he had a
But
bigger part in the Clone Wars.
Oh, great! That's super exciting, Nathan.
Well, it's
That's
canon.
put you in a cannon. All right, and for the new ones,
The new ones.
and again, think outside the bun here.
Hmm.
I'll give you a clue. The character I've picked is in one scene, but I think really nails it.
Poe?
Really nails the one scene.
But not Poe.
No. Too obvious. I'm thinking current day Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
And
okay.
current day Nicolas Cage, you're not going to get it, is, of course, one of those space manatees that Luke Skywalker sucks blue milk out of its fucking space tits. That, come on, can you not see him sitting on a rock?
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker sticks something around his nipples, and Nicolas Cage is going, oh, as he is milked by Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I guess.
Just that scene. You just show that scene on a loop, and you will watch the audience scores for Last Jedi go through the goddamn roof. That's a meme. That's a fucking toy.
Yeah.
That's an action figure where you push the little thing, and when you push it in, the milk comes out, and it makes a little voice activated "ooh" sound from him.
Oh, man.
It would be in every single review, good or bad. They'll say, now we're going to talk about it, obviously, the Nicolas Cage scene, because it gives you something to talk about, you know? There's no way that's a bad idea. Actually, no, there's one way to make that a better idea, is to put it in the Rise of Skywalker, so that there was one thing worth watching in the Rise of Skywalker. I'm calling it the worst film of last year and this year, because movies aren't going to the theaters. I'm just going to call it the worst movie until another movie comes along that is worse than it.
Yes.
You know,
movie was awful.
It was all the awful.
Now here's the question: could Nicolas Cage have salvaged the Rise of Skywalker?
Yes, if it was him as a fucking blue milk toting space or green milk, or I don't know, I forget what color came out of that thing, but whatever it was. just him in every scene. Look there. Yes, you could have done that. You could have done it. You could have saved that movie any number of ways. Well, actually, multiple number of ways. Like, you would have had to change almost every scene. But you know, I think the first thing would have been make it not the worst movie ever made. That would have been a good call. Yes. They should have basically, after they'd seen it, gone full George Costanza on it, when where George does the opposite of everything and gets successful.
Yes.
And just taken every scene and wrote the exact opposite of that scene.
Yeah.
And that would have worked. That would have been something. Hey, instead of Kylo Ren turning good, don't have him turn good. Hey, instead of, you know, doing Return of the Jedi at the end, don't do Return of the Jedi. Do your own movie. Hey, remember that character who you spent a whole movie building up? Don't forget her in this movie and have her do nothing. Just endless things you could have done. But it really did feel like they picked every single decision and went, oh, what's the opposite of what they want us to do? Let's do this horrible thing. It was this weird combination of bad fan service and bad trying to strike up on your own, and it ended up as it was okay. Well, anyway,
and it was literally a big middle finger to The Last Jedi, because they tried to undo everything that had been set up in the previous one.
Now, remember when I said your parents were nothing? Well, I was being cryptic for no reason. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you, that movie.
It did not work well.
I've been the biggest apologist for the last two films. I liked them for their own ways, and I hated that last movie so very much. Someone must have watched. Is toadying and ass kissing so powerful in Hollywood that nobody saw that movie and said to J.J. Abrams, hey, just maybe a little of this thing is the worst thing that was ever anything. Like, it is the COVID-19 of films. It is the fucking.
They released Colin Trevorrow's rough draft of his script, and everyone's like, "Why didn't they make this?" Like, it wasn't perfect, but it was a rough draft, so they could have, fixed some stuff.
I mean, I understand when the thought is from the writer of the Book of Henry, possibly the most insane movie ever made. Which, if you have not seen the book,
have I seen that one?
The Book of Henry. I'm going to give you the 30-second pitch for the Book of Henry, so that you understand why Colin Trevorrow may be also insane. The basic premise of the Book of Henry is there's a waitress who has 2 children. The older child is a genius. The younger child is just a normal kid. The older child, however, suddenly, about a third away through the movie, dies of some sort of brain hemorrhage. But before he died, because he was a super genius, plotted out using cassette tapes and plans and things, a revenge plot against his mother's next door neighbor, because he's sure that next door neighbor is sexually assaulting his daughter. And so after he dies, he leaves complex instructions in the Book of Henry for his grieving mother and his grieving younger brother to enact a murder plot on a man next door. It's a comedy, heartwarming family revenge, molestation, inspiring, pay it forward adventure. It was a movie for no one, made by a lunatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did he land the Star Wars gig?
Because he did Jurassic World. And Steven Spielberg loves him like a son, and he did the very excitingly bland and the vanilla ice cream of Jurassic movies, Jurassic World. Here's a ton of stuff, I guess. Oh, and in the middle of it, will brutally kill one woman just so people will go, but that one part, right, where that woman was like brutally killed, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where dinosaurs are your enemies until they're your friends, until they're your enemies again. It is hot nonsense, that Jurassic World. But
better than the sequel that we saw in theaters.
Oh yeah, you and I went and saw the fucking Fallen Kingdom. Was that what it was called? Oh my god! So. You mean where the last 30 minutes is the movie Clue? Where it's dinosaurs running around an old-timey mansion, hiding in closets. Who's in this closet? A Triceratops. What the literal fuck is going on? There's a point where a guy's in the driveway and he's like, "What's that sound?" Turns around, 500 dinosaurs. I'm like, never have such giant creatures felt so small that they could all play peekaboo in a country mansion. It is again, and I still have a question. I've seen 5 Jurassic movies.
Yes.
Are the dinosaurs good or bad? Or I don't understand what they're supposed to be.
Just a force of nature. The original Jurassic Park, they were bad until the T-Rex saves the day.
When a dinosaur gets killed, am I supposed to be happy or sad? I don't know.
I think if it's a plant-eating dinosaur, you're supposed to be sad. If it's a meat-eating dinosaur, you're supposed to cheer.
By the way, I saw the greatest Jurassic Park themed thing in the world months ago, back in the before time when we were allowed out in the world. I took Beatrice to mini golf, but indoor, like glow-in-the-dark mini golf. We got there about half an hour early and had to kill some time. So I'm like, let's play video games. So one of the games was this Jurassic Park game, and you sat inside you pretending you were in a vehicle, and there was a giant machine. So there's a giant machine gun in your hand. But clearly, what had happened between the time that they had built and programmed this game and released it was clearly someone had complained or some problem had come up about shooting dinosaurs or shooting animals, because it says, like in text, join us in Jurassic World, where you'll use your non-lethal stun gun to stun the dinosaurs with stun freeze, stun electricity, stun explosions. It shows like graphics of the gun on screen, but in the actual gameplay, when you quote unquote stun them with ice, they then shatter into a million pieces. When you quote stun them with electricity, they burst into flames. So they didn't even reprogram the kills. All they did was throw the word stun in the programming to a piece. Nobody and still released this tremendously violent
you could just see
game.
the executives going,
problem solved. We'll call it stunning.
We got to reframe this so we don't get moms complaining.
Well, you
Oh,
could tell that
man.
they told some programmer, "Hey, we are getting these games out in about 3 weeks. Can you change it so they're stunned instead of killed?" He's like, "Sure, no problem. I'll knock that
Yeah.
right out." It's awesome. It's truly entertaining. I can't wait to stun the shit out of 500 of these fucking pterodactyls as they stun explode. Because Beatrice Ashby's like, "Are you killing those dinosaurs?" I went, "No, I'm just stunning them."
So,
Yeah.
so there's a grand total of 5 movies right now.
Yep.
Is that
Yes.
where we sit?
There's a total. Let's not call that a grand total. There's a grand total of one good movie, then one needlessly dark one
Well, the
hilariously
one I
low
haven't
ambition.
seen is 3. That's the one that I haven't seen. Is the third
Three
one?
is awful, but it does contain the greatest moment in any Jurassic Park movie, where the return of Alan Grant is Jurassic Park 3, where Sam Neill
Yeah.
comes back. On his way to Jurassic Park, he falls asleep on a plane, has a scary dream, and then you think he wakes up because you see him in the plane, but he turns and there's a raptor in the plane that says in full English, "Alan," and then he wakes up. So he dreams of a talking raptor saying his name, and then he wakes up and it's like his buddy saying his name. It's this fucking buck nuts moment in this. The movie is actually fine. It's very low stakes, low ambition. Few
Yeah.
people get killed. They run around the island and they leave. A bunch of unlikable people are the heroes. It's nonsense and it's not great, but it's at least simple and it does one thing fine. Number
Yeah.
two, the one where Jeff Goldblum in the lead is bonkers and
Yeah.
boring and dark and terrible and mean and sad. And Jeff Goldblum is not a heroic leading man. No matter
No.
how much you rip open his shirt in the first one, he's just an awkward dude who,
Yeah.
by the way, has a daughter in the sequel because they need a kid in peril. So now he has a daughter, um, which is
Yeah.
great.
I still think Fallen Kingdom is the worst of the bunch.
Well, Fallen Kingdom was a great. I think in that one there's a clone. There's a girl clone and a dinosaur mansion.
Yeah.
It,
Oh yeah.
you know what? If it was 20% crazier, it would have been good. If they because the first half of it is a really just standard Jurassic Park movie,
Yeah.
and then the second half is kind of nuts, where it's like, well, she's a clone, and they're in
Yeah.
a cage, and
Yeah.
they're
It does
in.
get out of control.
But if they had started in that mansion and went crazier from there, I probably would have been on board.
Yeah.
If it because it sort of ends somewhere weird, but it's the first half is just
That's
dull
like it's
again.
like a movie like Sharknado goes all in.
Yeah.
There's no question.
But I'm really excited that Justice Smith is coming back for the next Jurassic Park movie. Isn't that
Oh
great?
gosh, he was so
Do you know who I'm
good.
talking about?
Yeah, he was the nerdy millennial.
Oh my God, you really did. I was trying to be like sarcastic that no one remembers this guy, and you did.
Oh yeah,
Well, there
no,
you go.
I remember because we were whining about the millennials while we were watching it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there's like a couple hip millennials
Yeah,
who
they
do
had to have the millennials in there to
yeah
make sure
to
that
do fucking nothing. By the way, except
yeah.
to
But
stand.
you know
I think
what?
their
When you're
job is to stand next to Chris Pratt and look thinner, so he looks bulkier.
yeah, but when your franchise is 28 years old or whatever, it's you gotta try and bring in some fresh blood because it can't be Sam Neill running around.
What I'm really excited for is when Chris Pratt's like fucking MCU contract winds down, but he's still doing Jurassic Park movies and slowly getting fatter and fatter because he's a fat guy who works out for these movies. He's not
Yeah.
an in shape guy.
No.
He got in shape, and you could already see it slipping a little bit in his last in fucking Endgame. You can see
Yeah.
his little jowls are starting to come back. Like he didn't train as hard. For the first one, he's like, I'm gonna be muscular, I'm gonna take my shirt
Yeah.
off. And the second Guardians, he still looks good, but it's sliding. There's a slow slide. He's 20 pounds away from it being like something they're going to have to talk about in the movies.
Yeah.
Like maybe like in the next one, Thor is muscly again and Peter Quill gets fat. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are moves to be made. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm freezing out here, so I think I'm about ready to wrap
it's
up
time.
the free
I think
cheese.
we've put in a good solid hour of entertainment here, so that's
Excellent. Oh, did you download 45 minutes of good music?
Yeah.
Took you a second to get the joke, which was we provided
Yes.
15 minutes of it.
Well, your
It's
face
about-
is still frozen, so it's
Oh yeah. Oh, here I'm back, baby.
your face has been frozen. There we go. Your
That's
face has
all
been
right.
frozen for the last, I don't know, half hour.
You if you're gonna put this online, just edit in interesting shit over my face.
Yeah, sure.
You know how to do
Well,
that, right?
Yeah,
You know
well,
how to edit.
it might have been better that you were frozen then because you would have given everyone motion sickness. So
There you go. Well, I'm back on the rocking chair.
Yeah, I know, I can tell.
Woo! Yeah, I guess I haven't needed the Nicolas Cage comedy space for like a half hour, but who gives a shit? Anyway, well, we will be back next week, and of course, now our homework for next week is to watch Under Siege 2: Dark Territory.
all right, there we go. All right, if we
We're gonna-
must. At
whatever-
least it'll be
whatever-
shorter.
Whatever film we casually discuss one week, we have to watch for the next
Yes.
week, and I'm challenging us to watch Under Siege 2: Dark Territory.
Under Siege
Uh,
2. It's got to be shorter. It's got to be shorter than
I'm
Robin Hood.
I'm resisting the urge to just turn this into a talk about movies podcast because there are 9 billion of them. But I think Under Siege 2: Dark Territory is worth a watch. So
You know what? I think we haven't really discussed movies all that much up to this point, so our
There you go.
audience will forgive us.
all right, we'll let that slide. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But,
So Under
and-
Siege, Dark Territory is. Oh shoot! It doesn't have the runtime here. I wanted to see because I was blown away. I was blown away by the runtime on Robin Hood. It's like 2.5 hours. Oh, sorry, it's 1 hour 40 minutes. So it's like a full, almost hour shorter than.
I hope Under Siege Dark Territory is like 2 hours and 10. I'll bet you it's surprisingly long.
It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. Damn it. All right. Well, that's worth a go then.
Yes.
All right. Well then.
All right. Well, this is
and-
Nathan Lee signing off.
And wow, we're supposed to sign off together. You're supposed to say, "This is Nathan Lee," and I'm Andrew Patterson. That's from Free Cheat. But you do the whole thing. I'll just stand here. You go ahead. Go do it all.
I'm Nathan Lee.
And go ahead.
This has
Go
been.
No,
Andrew
you're supposed to sign
Patterson.
me. Yeah, there you go. Sign me. This has been Andrew Pat. Oh my God, I'm gonna give you a third try. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
This is Nathan Lee. This has also been Andrew Patterson for Free Cheese.
That was
The lights
awful.
go
Hey, look,
out.
my light went out.
That's perfect timing.
All right.
That
Peace.
light is better comedic timing than we do.
Speak for yourself, lady. And roll credits. We'll entertain you. Do a show for you.
Wash our hands often to our elbows. These are the things we know. We know. If people want to wear a mask, that is okay. These are the things we know. That prevents you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. Speaking moistly. I am not a medical expert. These are the things we know. Keep 2 meters apart. What I have heard from medical experts. These are the things we know. That prevents you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly. Keep 2 meters apart. 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 Speaking moistly.